We're getting really close to the end of the series, just one more issue to go. But in this one, Terry is really coming into his own, like he feels like his own Batman. And I really liked how in the beginning of the story, Static was questioning if Terry could pull off some Batman level feats when they need it the most, and Terry ended up doing it. But before I get into that, I still think that Richie is the MVP of this whole arc because he's been making all these, he's been setting them up to win pretty much. And he's doing that here again by giving Batman the idea to use his smoke grenades while Richie himself, he has like these special glasses and he's coating his glasses right now to see through the smoke screen so he can actually help them. And he also lets them know that since they're here for Static, they most likely have an EMP shield. So he's already going after the shield so Static can attack him. Like I said, Richie sets them up for success. I think he's the MVP of the arc. But back to Terry as he pops smoke right here in an attempt to cover their vision so they can all make the attack on them. And Terry's moving really well throughout the crowd here. And right here, Ebon mentions that there's too much light for him to open up a portal. So Batman Beyond says, "Leave those to me," as he throws out his batarangs to hit all the lights. And right here, he mentions that his old bat suit had a targeting assist, and this one doesn't. I actually didn't know that he had a targeting assist this whole time, which is something I really didn't know. But it's impressive watching him without this system, and he's just as accurate. I really like that. But like I said, as Terry's becoming his own Batman, right here he jumps over this like generator. I didn't notice it on my first read. I noticed after, but right here he slaps something down on it, and then they're firing him through the smoke. And they even mention they can't get a bead on Batman, and then the generator blows up as Terry covers himself with his cape. I really like his new suit. But Terry's making a lot of big plays in this fight, and that allows Ebon to open up a portal. But while he's opening it, someone hits him with a stun grenade. And I actually heard this click in my head when it was flying towards him. Unfortunately, it gets Ebon. So the only ones who go through the portal are Static and Batman Beyond, and they're back in Neo Gotham. And here we see how much Terry has actually been taking care of Gotham because they get jumped by like these. I'm not exactly sure what they are, if they're mutants, but they have been abandoned in the worst parts of Gotham. And it's actually revealed here that Terry knows them. And he's been out here checking in on them quite frequently to make sure they're okay. And that's really cool. That's just such a Batman thing to do. The fact that he's so chill with them. Look at that. They just didn't recognize that it was him because he's got a new suit. I really do love this new suit. I hope he keeps it after this whole arc is done. But they mention how their people are being stolen, right? And someone gets stolen right under their noses. And Terry pretty much is like, that shouldn't have happened, especially if I'm here. And he says that must mean they're invisible. But he says that doesn't mean they're intangible. So he throws down more smoke and he's able to find where the guy is and he takes him out right away, which is really cool. Like, that's a nice drop kick. Like I said, Terry's becoming his own Batman. It's really cool to see. Oh, wait, and he also gets a lot of these cool shots with his battering whenever he's throwing it up, or his hook. I'm not sure what you call that. Grappling hook. There you go. Yeah. And then here, Static actually gets a hold of this guy. He asks him the question, and this guy says, he tells him he's all, "We've been trying to narrow the streets." And Static says, "Oh, we." And then Static ends up taking out everyone else's stealth suits, which is pretty cool. But we also get a confirmation of what Static's powers actually are, like how they really work. As Static is trying to help other this other guy who also has electrical powers. Static is talking him through it on how to use it. And here Static reveals that what his power is, and this guy's too. He says you're an electrokinetic. That's more than just firing volts, a lot more. So now we know Static isn't just electricity, he's electrokinetic. That's why he's able to do all this stuff. Like right here, he's tracking shutdown just based on his energy alone. Static mentions it is difficult, but that's honestly their only shot to track him down. Like, they don't have any other choice. It does take Static a little bit to hone in on his energy because, like I said, he's got to search through the whole world, but he does eventually find it. And we get some backstory on Melvin and why he is the way he is, especially with technology. And I kind of understand. His parents made a robot to observe like human interactions and stuff. And then Melvin gets attacked and bullied. He asks the robot for help, and the robot's like, I'm just programmed to observe. So the robot just watched him get his ass kicked. And it's just like, I understand why Melvin would hate technology because I would be kind of upset about that too, especially knowing your parents programmed that robot and they didn't program uh, a protect sequence in it for their own child. That would kind of piss me off too, actually. But here we get flashback to the court scene. I feel like this is going to play out more in the final issue. This is just like a little setup for it, I think. Because I don't think it's over. It's hard to say. But we get back to here as they go to the high school. I'm pretty sure this is Virgil's high school. And they're wondering why Shutdown came back here. And there's some crazy writing on the wall. And Batman Beyond mentions how the old man says this is weird clues happens before major events. And it's really cool. That's just how Gotham is, though. Here they are taking off to go find Shutdown, and then Terry's shooting off his grappling hook so he can keep up with Static. It's really cool watching them just like move, and then Ebon shows up too. I just like how much Ebon we're getting. But here they finally show up. They actually show up to Shutdown's parents' house to talk to them before they end up running into Shutdown at the last Q Juice power plant, I think that's what it is. And once he destroys this one, he's trying to cause a second Big Bang just because he wants everyone else to feel the pain he did. That really is his reason. I know some people might not like it. They might not think it's too deep. But I think with his background and with the way people like, because Melvin does kind of go through shit and people don't really care. So I understand why he wants to watch every other suffer. But I will admit it's not the strongest motivation. But then again, you have to remember, I think Melvin's just like, I think he's just 17. So I don't. For me, I didn't need a huge motivational reason. I understand that he's hurting and he's in pain. That's why he's making all these awful mistakes. And they also said that his power is probably causing his emotions to run out of control. So it's not just Melvin himself, it's also his powers. So I understand why he's like this. And this is the final shot of the issue. I just wanted to show this because this is like the first issue that doesn't end good, I guess, but that's not a bad thing because it just ends because you can tell the final battle's set up. The final battle's been set up since like right here since they approached. But because we're at the end of the issue, we can't really get into it, so they spent some time talking so we can have the final fight in the last issue. That's why it kind of feels like it just ends. But I'm okay with this kind of ending because like I said, we're right at the final battle. So I'm pretty sure the final battle is going to be Static, Batman Beyond versus Shutdown. And I just can't wait to see it. And I just noticed there's Ebon. Ebon's right there. I just thought that was really cool. Anyways, I really enjoyed this issue. It's a really good one. I can't wait to see how this ends, but I kind of don't. I'm not ready for it to end. I wish this series was longer. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And I'll see you for the final issue of the series.